Hello lovelies, and welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here. Today I've got a fun video for us, and we are going to be trying out a palette that is new to me. It was a Christmas gift I received from my family, and I'm so excited to get to use it. And it is from BH Cosmetics, the Passion in Paris palette. It is absolutely stunning. This is such a beautiful little 16 pan palette. It is beautiful packaging, and I'm so excited to show you how I created this beautiful smoky look today. So I'm really excited just to jump in. This has been such a great time for my channel for Paris inspired palettes. I recently picked up the new Nomad Cosmetics launch for the Paris La Bohème palette, so I just created a video and a look with that recently. So if you're interested in that, definitely check it out at the link in the description box below. It is such a beautiful palette as well. Of course, Paris, the city of light, the city of love, is such a beautiful place, and of course it is a wonderful inspiration for makeup and for all of these beautiful color stories. So I've been having so much fun getting to jump into these Paris inspired palettes, and I hope that you enjoyed this video today. So come along with me and let's make up the rules. The packaging on this palette is absolutely beautiful. We've got our beautiful city landscape in Paris with the Eiffel Tower in the back with all of just those beautiful Paris lights. It is absolutely gorgeous on the front cover. And then on the inside, we have a photo close-up of the Eiffel Tower with the name of our palette, Passion in Paris. And then this is the beautiful color story. It is so lovely, all of these beautiful shades just representing this lovely city, the city of love. The packaging has a plastic wrap on the eyeshadows to protect them. It's almost like a little sleeve that they slide up on it. So you can see on the back it's here, and then it's on the front as well. A lot of the BH Cosmetic palettes that I've gotten before have had this kind of sleeve on it, and it kind of takes you back to those good old days of buying DVDs, and they had that really tight shrink wrap on them and they were really hard to get off. It's kind of like that. So I kind of wish they had more of just kind of a flat sleeve in here to protect the eyeshadows, but I do appreciate the extra precaution with it. So I'm going to take that off and then go ahead and get into some swatches, and we'll take a closer look at these shades. So as I was taking off the plastic wrap, it was actually pretty easy to remove. I know I mentioned it was going to be real tight, and it was, but it was easy to get off. And then underneath the plastic wrap, there was also one of these clear plastic sleeves. So I know I mentioned that that was something that I wish was in here. It actually did have that. It just had a double layer of protection. So I thought that was kind of funny. There was just some extra padding on this, and I really appreciate the extra precautions just to keep those eyeshadows safe, because definitely, especially as things are traveling in the mail, I've gotten some eyeshadow palettes that have been broken in some of the shades, so it's really nice just to be able to get your product and make sure that it arrives safely, and definitely has that extra padding. This palette swatched really beautifully. All of the shades in here are really nice and deep, and they have a lot of pigment to them. As you pick them up out of the pan, there is just you just need just a little bit of product, and it goes a long way, especially when you're doing the swatches. These are just such really deep, rich matte pigment. Everyone in here is really pretty. I will say that looking in the pan, some of the shades kind of appear differently in the swatches than they do to me in the pan. I was thinking some of these shades were going to be maybe a little more green leaning or a little more purple leaning, but there is a lot of blue in this palette, and definitely as you're taking the swatches you can really see those really rich, vibrant blue pigment. So that's really pretty. It was just a little more unexpected. Some of them kind of just came out a little bit different than I was thinking. The shimmers in here are really pretty. They have just a really nice kind of iridescent glow to them. The Arc de Triomphe, the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, those are all really pretty light shimmer shades. And then City of Light is a nice silver shimmer in here. I thought it was going to be maybe a little bit lighter, but it came out as a very kind of metallic silver kind of color. So it is very pretty and definitely represents the Eiffel Tower very well, and the city very well. I love that there are a couple of neutral shades in here, some neutral mattes to give us some transition shades and really be able to create a very versatile look that goes from light to dark. So I love that there is a nice range of some kind of medium tones, like there's a kind of medium purple and blue in here, some really deep tones, but there are also a couple of light neutral mattes. So this is overall a very pretty palette. I really love just the rich vibrancy of the shades in here that really represent the vibrancy of such a beautiful city. So I'm really excited to go ahead and start on our tutorial. I went ahead and primed my eyes with my Ulta Beauty Collection Pigment Pop Eye Primer, and I think for this look today, I want to go with a really nice dark smoky look on the top of my eyelid. And so I'm going to go in with a fluffy blending brush, and I'm going to go in first with this really beautiful dark shade right here. This one is Montmartre, and I'm gonna try to pronounce these the best that I can. I'm just gonna pick just a little bit of this beautiful shade up on my brush, and there is not a mirror in the palette, so I'm just gonna use my own mirror, and I'm just going to put this into the outer corner and really start to build up some pigment. I am having just a little bit of fallout, so I will go ahead and just kind of wipe some of that away, and then just gently pat this shade into the outer corner. It is such a beautiful deep blue shade. It is really, really pretty. And just kind of gently using back and forth circular motion and just kind of blending this right here into this outer corner and just building up some pigment. And pick just a little bit more up. And also just kind of tapping so I don't have a lot of fallout, and I can just kind of press the pigment into place where I want it and just start to build up some color. That is such a beautiful shade. Very, very pretty. And I'm just kind of putting this on the outer third of my lid and just really kind of building up this outer corner with some deep shades and some deep mattes. So the next shade that I'm going to go into is this one right here. This one is called Tuileries. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of this on my brush and just go ahead and continue deepening up this outer corner. So again, just kind of using a patting or pressing motion, just kind of tapping this right onto that other shade and just kind of gently blending it in right here in the outer corner. It is so pretty. That is going to create such a deep and smoky look on this eyeshadow look. And the next shade that I'm going to go into is going to be this one right here. And this one is called Musée d'Orsay. And I'm going to pick up just a little bit of that and really just deepen up the outer corner of my lid, keeping it a little bit lower right here and just continuing to build up this pigment. That is really pretty. It is definitely, it doesn't take a lot of product. These are such deep pigment and mattes that they're able to just really, with a little bit of product, create a lot of color and really create a lot of depth. And they are blending together very nicely and very beautifully and creating just a really nice smoky effect. Now I want to start lightening up the crease as we're moving towards the inner corner. So I went ahead and wiped off my brush, and I'm going to go in with this beautiful blue shade right here, the Seine. And I'm going to go ahead and apply this on the center of my crease. I'm going to just kind of tap my brush off just a little bit. I picked up a lot of pigment. And just going to go ahead and just very gently start to kind of blend from that outer corner into the inner corner. Very light motion. I don't want this to be really dark. I do want to start lightening up as I move to the inner corner. So I'm just using just a little bit of pigment, blending it into the outer corner, and then just kind of losing pigment as I move towards the inner corner and just lightening up as we go. That is really pretty and creating just kind of a nice blue ombre effect. And I think on the next shade, I do want to start moving a little bit more into some purple also. So I'm going to go into this beautiful light purple shade right here. This one is Sacré Coeur. And I'm going to go ahead and just use that same brush and pick up a little bit of pigment. And then I'm going to tap that off and go ahead and apply this on that inner third of my crease. And just kind of blending it into that Seine shade and just creating just a nice transition from blue into purple. And I'm going to pick up a little bit more of Seine and just kind of apply a little bit more pigment into the center of my crease and just kind of going back and forth between the two and really just kind of getting the ombre effect and the pigment that I want. That is absolutely stunning. I love how deep and dark and smoky this is. Now I want to start lightening it up a little, so we're going to jump into some of the shimmer shades in this palette. I went ahead and popped some of my NYX glitter primer on my lid, so I'm ready to go ahead and go into some of these beautiful shimmers. I am going to go ahead and go into the center of my lid with this beautiful Versailles shade here, and I'm going in with an Ulta Beauty flat shadow brush and just picking up some of this pigment on my brush, and I'm going to, like I said, apply this right here in the center and really start to get just a nice beautiful pop of color. And that is absolutely gorgeous. That is such a beautiful shimmer. It is so bright and vibrant. Even for it being such a dark pigment, it really has just kind of a little bit of kind of a light white or silver in there that really gives it just a very nice light reflect. So I'm pulling this up with the flat part of my brush, just right here along the bottom of my crease, just so it'll blend into those matte shades, and keeping this right in the center of the lid. And then I do want to add just a little bit more shimmer over here on the edge, and so I'm going to go in with this shade right here, and this one is called Pantheon, and this one was just kind of a nice light blue shimmer. So I'm just going to use that same brush and just pick up a little bit of pigment, and I'm just going to tap this just right here along the edge of that Versailles shade, just to kind of blend into this outer corner and just blend these two shimmers together. And those are really pretty. They go really beautifully together, and then just kind of pulling along that edge just to make sure they're nice and blended. So that is absolutely gorgeous. I am going to go ahead and wipe off this brush because I do have such dark shimmers and dark pigments on them. So I'm wiping that off, and then with that clean brush, I want to add a little bit more of a light shimmer, and I want to pull also a little bit more into that purple. So I'm going to go into Arc de Triomphe, and I'm going to apply this onto the center of my eye, or not the center, the inner corner of my eyelid, and just go ahead and finish out this shimmer across the lid. So I'm just going to apply this right here, right underneath that purple matte that we applied, and really just create a lot more lightness towards the inner corner and really be able to kind of blend this out. So I'm just going to kind of just, again, use the edge of my brush and just blend those two lines together, making sure that I'm also pulling this up right along the edge of my crease so that it kind of blends into those matte shades. And I'm going to grab just a little bit more of that Versailles shade and just make sure that it is still blended here and still visible, so I'm not overpowering, and making sure that those harsh lines are nice and blended in. That is so pretty. Those shimmers go together so beautifully. So I'm really loving how this look is turning out. It is very dark on the top of the lid, so I do want to have just a little bit more lightness along the lower lash line and really let all of these shades that we've already applied really kind of stand out. And so I think I want to kind of dip into some of these kind of more red burgundy type shades down here for the lower lash line. So I'm going to go in with the flat liner brush from Ulta Beauty Collection, and I'm going to go in with this shade right here. This one is Pompidou, and just pick up a little bit of this on the end of my brush, and then go ahead and start applying that. So I have just a nice kind of light reddish shade as my liner along the lower lash line. So I'm just going to go ahead and line this all the way across underneath my lid, or my lower lid. That is such a beautiful shade. These shades in this palette go together so beautifully. There's a large range of shades in here, but they really blend together very nicely. That is absolutely stunning. That is such a beautiful shade. So next I'm going to go into this dark shade down in the corner down here. This is Grand Palais, and just pick up a little bit of this on my brush, and just going to kind of put this right over top that other shade and just kind of deepen up the lower lash line and provide a little bit more pigment here. That is so pretty, and definitely creating more of a rich and a vibrant lower lash line. That is so, so pretty. I do want to add just a little bit more shimmer onto the lower lash line, so I'm going to wipe that brush off just a little bit, and then I'm going to go into this other shade on the corner down here, Moulin Rouge, and just pick up a little bit of this beautiful shimmer on my brush, And I'm going to use some setting spray. I'm just going to go ahead and spray that a little bit just to provide a little tackiness. And then going to go ahead and apply this just right here on this inner part of the lower lash line as we're moving towards the inner corner, just to give a little bit of lightness and a little bit more of a glow to the lower lash line. And just kind of tapping this shade in and then just kind of blending it into those other two shades. So that is really pretty and really dark and vibrant, and I absolutely love that. So now for the inner corner, I do want to have some really nice lightness. So I'm going to go in with a Real Techniques detail brush, and I think I'm going to go in with this beautiful white shimmer up here. This one is Louvre. It is so gorgeous. It is such a beautiful shade. So I'm just going to pick a little bit of that up on my brush. Again, spray it with my setting spray and then apply this right here on the inner corner just to give a little bit of lightness because this is a very dark look. And then I think I'm also going to pop some of the excess that's on my brush into my brow bone and just give a nice little highlight and a little extra shimmer up here in these dark mattes. That's such a pretty shade. It is so beautiful. Perfect for inner corners or highlight shades. It would look really nice on a halo eye too, I think in the center. Very, very pretty. That is absolutely stunning. I really love how this look turned out. So I'm going to go ahead and step off camera, finish up this look on the other eye, add all of those finishing details, and then I'll be back in just a minute. I absolutely love this look. It is so pretty. It is so vibrant and deep and dark and just has so much smokiness to it. It is so, so pretty. I'm really happy with how this looks. For my details, I went ahead and went in with my Breakup Proof Waterproof Liner in Ultra Black. This is from Wet n Wild. And then for the tight lining on the top and for my lower waterline, I went in with some automatic eyeliners from Ulta Beauty. I went in with Matte Black and Matte Powder Pink. And then for my mascara, I went in with that Tarte Maneater Waterproof Mascara. So this is such a beautiful look. I'm so happy with how it turned out, and I had so much fun playing with this palette today. Just to share some of my initial thoughts about the Passion and Palace BH Cosmetics palette. This is such a beautiful palette. Just those packaging on this is so stunning. It just is very visually pleasing. Of course, Paris is such a beautiful city. It's really hard to represent it in a way that's not just beautiful. And the shades in this palette are absolutely stunning. They are so deep, so vibrant, so pigmented, and it was just so much fun to create this look. And really, I really enjoyed using this palette a lot. There's definitely a lot of kind of mutedness to it. Some of these really dark shades, but they really show up very vibrantly on the eye and on the skin when you take your swatches. It's just such a beautiful palette. The shimmers in here are really stunning. They are just so light, so iridescent, so easy to work with. This Louvre shade that I put on the inner corner and in my brow bone was very pigmented. Sometimes if you get a shade like this, it can be really light and really loose so that you can't see a lot of the pigment, but you can definitely really see it very well on this look. So everything in here was so pigmented, so easy to work with, very, very blendable, very easy just to build up pigment with a little bit of product to blend together with the other shades and really create a very dark, very smoky look. So I am so happy with how this look turned out. I think it is so beautiful, and I really enjoyed using the Passion in Paris palette, and I can't wait to use it again. Thank you so much for clicking on my video today. It was so much fun creating this beautiful look with you using the BH Cosmetics Passion in Paris palette. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments below what your thoughts are about this look and about this palette. If you liked this video, go ahead and let me know by hitting that like button. And I hope that you enjoyed this video and would like to stick around for more content in the future. And if you would, then please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, let's be kind to each other, beautiful to ourselves, and never afraid to make up the rules.